Hey everyone. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. When is the right time to buy a property? Well, my real estate agent friends will tell you now. In fact, if you ask them that question most days, they'll tell you now is the right time. And they're probably right for a number of reasons. In fact, the best time to buy a property is a year ago. But in all honesty, sitting here on the 5th of September 2024, now is probably your best opportunity to buy a property, or certainly you should be considering it for a number of reasons. We're coming off a interest rate hike cycle, which means for the last 18 months, we've been sitting at high interest rates. With the last interest rate hike, I think it was last year, June or July, I forget now exactly. But the net effect of those interest rate hikes means that 8-9 months down the line, we feel it in our pocket. And that has stagnated prices a little bit because it's become a buyer's market. So what's going to change? Well, in the next few weeks, you can underwrite that there will be an interest rate cut. Why? Because South Africa, our inflation rate has come down. It's come in well within the range of what the Reserve Bank wants. I think at the moment it's sitting at around 4.6%, and it's down from over 6% over a year ago. We have a high unemployment rate. If the Reserve Bank does not make a cut, well, there's going to be some serious questions asked of them. So I think it's almost a guarantee that you'll have a rate cut at the end of September, possibly even as high as 0.5, and I reckon again in November, and then we'll see how next year goes. But the other thing that's aligning for us, South Africa can be a little bit unstable when it comes to the political landscape. And recently we had our elections, and that was, let's just call it, was interesting results from that. And I think, this national unity, the government of national unity, has somewhat stabilized people's mindsets of where the country is going as well. And if that's the case for people that live here, you can reasonably expect that it's same from an investor sentiment point of view. So the jury's still out on where that's going to end over the next few years, but certainly for the short term, there seems to be a lot more political stability than what there was leading up to the elections. So with interest rates that are going to be coming down, we may start swinging towards a little bit more of a seller's market. I mean, it'll be incremental, but a little bit more of a seller's market. And what that means is that 8 to 9 months down the line, the effect of that gets felt. And by the time that comes around, house prices will have gone up. Now, if you live in the Western Cape, you live in a bubble. So for you, it's no different. Prices have been increasing significantly in the Western Cape. But for the rest of the country, you can expect a shift in pricing. So that's why I'm saying, if you are sitting on the fence as a buyer, now's probably the time to get off that fence. And if not, make a purchasing decision. Certainly, you need to give it some serious consideration, because if you purchase a property now, and for most of us in our country, you're going to have to access a bond or access a home loan in order to do that. Your repayments that you're going to be paying for that home are going to be at their highest point right now. Certainly for the next few years, they're going to be at their highest point right now. So if you are able to get stuck into the market now, and the first year or so feels a little tight, because we tend to always try to push the boundary and not overextend ourselves, but to push the boundary a little bit. But if you can get through that first few months, as I said, please don't hold me to this, but I'll almost underwrite there will be a rate cut in September. It's a high likelihood of another one in November, and probably early in the first quarter of next year. So your repayments will get less from the very first one that you make, should you purchase a property in the next month or two. So that's my message to you. If you're a buyer sitting on the fence, now is the time to seriously consider a move towards property ownership, if that's what you're after. And the same message goes to investors. But if you're an investor, you've probably been reading between the lines for the last few months. You're probably sitting on some money or capital that you haven't been willing to spend because you wanted to see where things are headed. So I think you're going to see investors creeping out into this market space as well, which again creates competition for the rest of us trying to buy our first home or primary home. So, you know, those prices, like I said, probably will increase, not exponentially, but will increase more than the average of the last few years within the next 12 months. That's all I have to share. Use it or lose it. Bye.